Chapter 5. Dear cousin, I cannot describe to you the uneasiness we have all felt concerning your health. We cannot help imagining that your friend Clerval conceals the extent of your disorder. He always writes that you are getting better. I eagerly hope that you will confirm this intelligence soon in your own handwriting. For indeed, Victor, we are all very miserable on this account. Relieve us from this fear, and we shall be the happiest creatures in the world. Your father's health is now so vigorous that he appears 10 years younger since last winter. Ernest also is so much improved that you would hardly know him. He is now nearly 16 and has lost that sickly appearance which he had some years ago. He is so grown, quite robust and active. My uncle and I conversed a long time last night about how Professor Ernest should follow. Now that he enjoys good health, he is continually in the open air, climbing the hills, or rowing on the lake. I therefore proposed that he should be a farmer, which, you know, cousin, is a favorite scheme of mine. My uncle had an idea of his being educated as an advocate, that through his interest he might become a judge. I said that the employments of a prosperous farmer, if they were not a more honorable one, there were at least happier species of occupation than that of a judge, whose misfortune it was always to meddle with the dark side of human nature. And now I must tell you a little story that will please and perhaps amuse you. Do you not remember Justine Moritz? Madame Moritz, her mother, was a widow with 4 children, of whom Justine was the third. Her mother could not endure her, and after the death of Mr. Moritz, treated her very ill. My aunt observed this, and when Justine was 12 years of age, prevailed on her mother to allow her to live at her house. Justine, thus received in our family, learned the duties of a servant, a condition which, in our fortunate country, does not include the idea of ignorance and a sacrifice of the dignity of human being. After what I have said, I dare say you well remember the heroine of my little tale, for Justine was a great favorite of yours. One by one, her brothers and sisters died, and her mother, with the exception of her neglected daughter, was left childless. The conscience of the woman was troubled. She began to think that the death of her favorite was a judgment from heaven to chastise her partially. She was a Roman Catholic, and I believe her confessor confirmed the idea which she had conceived. She sometimes begged Justine to forgive her unkindness, but much often accused her of having caused the death of her brothers and sisters. Perpetual fretting at length threw Madame Moritz into a decline. She died on the first approach of cold weather, in the beginning of this last winter. Justine has returned to us, and I assure you I love her tenderly. She is very clever and gentle, and extremely pretty. As I mentioned before, her mien and her expressions continually remind me of my dear aunt. I must say also a few words to you, my dear cousin of little darling William. I wish you could see him. He is very tall of his age, with sweet laughing blue eyes, dark eyelashes, and curling hair. When he smiles, 2 little dimples appear on each cheek, which are rosy with health. I have written myself into good spirits, dear cousin, yet I cannot conclude without again anxiously inquiring concerning your health. Dear Victor, if you are not very ill, write yourself and make your father and I all of us happy, as I cannot bear to think of the other side of the question. My tears already flow. Adieu, my dearest cousin, Elizabeth Lavenza.